Do you know how much wealth exists in Canada? Like as a dollar amount? Let me tell you, it's $17.5 trillion of wealth in Canada. Trillion with a T. That's from Stats Canada. But here's some other cool facts. There are 2 million millionaires in Canada and 67 billionaires. The top 10 billionaires combined hold about 2% of all the wealth in Canada. And the top 10% of the wealthiest Canadians hold 57% of the wealth. Hell, the top 1% hold a quarter of that alone. The next 40% hold another 40%. So if you're doing the math here, the top 50% of the wealthiest people in Canada hold 97% of the wealth. Meaning the bottom half combined, you know, the yous and me's of the world, we only have 3%. Or should I say we're fighting to grab a small piece of that 3% that's left. And the wealthiest Canadians are trying to get that 3% too. And yet if they've somehow convinced you that the problem is people like you and me, everyday Canadians just trying to survive. Meanwhile, you could have a 50% tax on just the wealthiest person in Canada, and he could still afford to buy a professional hockey team and live the rest of his life in comfort. That person's name is David Thompson, and his net worth is an estimated $98 billion. If you think life is expensive because we give handouts to the bottom 50%, the yous and me's that only hold 3% of all the wealth in Canada, and it's not because of the top 10%, then you bought the propaganda. Here's a final thought. All of the labor comes from those of us in that bottom 50%. You only get to be in the top 10% when you exploit people for labor. You absolutely can do ethical things when you have billions of dollars, and you should. But I would say in most cases, you can't amass billions of dollars ethically. So next time someone says to you, social services funded by your tax dollars should be cut because we already pay too much in tax, ask them why they aren't equally mad at the top 10% of wealthiest Canadians who don't pay their share of taxes. Because if they did, we all would be paying much less in taxes and able to have a fully funded and prosperous social safety net. The problem isn't the social safety net. It's not the yous and I's. It's the billionaire class. And as people creating wealth for them, the labor, we do hold power. They just don't want you to realize that. Because if we did and united in protest, they'd be done. Peace out. And if you're not already following me, you should. It's going to be a ride.